Hello students, in previous class we already discussed about Biot-Savart's law, its application and some numericals regarding the Biot-Savart's law. Today we are going to discuss another important law in magnetic effects of electric current, that is known as Ampere's law, or this is also known as Ampere's circuital law. Okay, it's a very important law. So what is Ampere's law or Ampere's circuital law? This is a law which relates the line integral of magnetic field strength about a closed loop with the total electric current enclosed by that closed loop. Clear? So what is this law states that? It states that the line integral of magnetic field strength it states that the line integral of magnetic field strength about any closed loop in free space is mu naught times of the net current enclosed by that closed loop. Clear? It states that the line integral of magnetic field strength about any closed loop is in free space is mu naught times of the net current enclosed by the closed loop, or in mathematical form we can write B dot dl vector closed integral over the line or closed line integral will be mu naught I enclosed. Okay, this is the mathematical expression for Ampere's circuital law. Okay, this is somewhat related with the Gauss law in electrostatic. In Gauss law we define what? The total electric flux linked with a closed surface is epsilon naught times of the total charge enclosed by that surface. Here in place of surface we are considering a loop. Surface is a three-dimensional figure, loop is a two-dimensional figure, like sphere. Sphere is a spherical surface, but whereas circle is a closed loop. Cube is a square surface, it has surface or three-dimensional figure, but square is a loop. So here we are considering the closed loop about which the line integral of the net magnetic field strength will be what? Mu naught times of the total current enclosed by that closed loop. This is known as what? Ampere's circuital law. Clear? So now let's mathematically derive this. So let's consider here is a infinite current carrying conductor which carries current into the plane. That means the current carrying conductor is remain like this, which carries current into the plane of I, amount current flowing into the plane at point O, and at a distance R there is a point of observation P, okay, about which we have to calculate what? The net magnetic field strength. So as due to an infinite long straight current carrying conductor, B at P will be how much? Mu naught I divided by 2 pi R. We already know about this, we derived this one by using Biot-Savart's law. Okay, let it be equation 1. Clear? So the magnetic field strength at point P due to this infinite long straight conductor which carries current I into the plane will be how much? This much. So now consider unclosed loop about the point P. Okay, this is a closed circular loop about point P. Okay, this is a closed loop about point P. Okay, and this loop is known as what? This is an imaginary loop. We have to imagine this loop. This is a closed loop that we have to imagine above or around the point of observation P, which have radius how much? R. This loop is known as Amperian loop. Okay, it's an imaginary loop. Okay, Amperian loop, and it is an imaginary loop. So now the line integral of magnetic field strength around this imaginary loop will be how much? So now we have to find out the line integral. That means B dot dl closed integral. This implies you can write what is the value of B at any point on this closed loop. At the distance from each point above the closed loop will be same as that of P. It will be mu naught I by 2 pi r dot dl. If the current is inward, the direction of B will be at any point will be tangent, and the dl vector we have to consider the direction for this loop. So we can consider the direction in clockwise or anti-clockwise. Here I am considering the direction of loop is same as that of the direction of magnetic field strength. So the direction here will be dl cos theta. What is the cos theta? Here the direction will be B, and this is the direction for the dl vector, the line integral vector. So it will be dl cos 0 closed integral. So this implies it will become how much? Mu naught I divided by 2 pi r dl closed integral. This will be mu naught I by 2 pi r will be constant, comes out closed line integral of dl. So here the dl, if this is dl, this portion is dl, the line integral about this complete closed loop will be how much? The total radius length is r, so the complete length of this loop will be how much? 2 pi into r. So the complete closed integral of dl will be how much? This implies mu naught I divided by 2 pi r, and the line integral over the complete closed loop of dl will be 2 pi r, as the complete length of this imaginary Amperian loop will be how much? The radius is r, it is a circular loop, so the complete length of this loop will be 2 pi r. So this will become how much? This implies it will become mu naught I. This will cancel, and this mu naught I is equal to what? According to Ampere's circular law, the line integral of the magnetic field strength about any closed loop is mu naught times of the total current enclosed by that loop. So here mu naught times of the total current I is enclosed within that loop. So this implies B dot dl line integral will be how much? Mu naught I, which is what? This is Ampere's law. Okay, clear? So now this implies what? The closed line integral of magnetic field strength about any closed loop will be mu naught times of the total current enclosed by that loop. Clear? So now let's know some important points regarding the Ampere's circuital law. Okay, notes regarding Ampere's circuital law. First, the Ampere's circuital law, or simply Ampere's law, is what? B dot dl vector closed line integral will be mu naught I enclosed. Clear? This is the mathematical expression for what? Ampere's circuital law, where I enclosed, this is dl. Okay, so here the direction of dl and b will be same or opposite. So for this formula we have to first imagine an Amperian loop. Okay, we have to imagine an Amperian loop. So how to imagine Amperian loop? For this, the Amperian loop must be considered in such a way that the direction of b vector and dl vector are either parallel or anti-parallel or perpendicular to each other at each and every point of the Amperian loop. Okay, during the imagination or consideration of the Amperian loop, we have to consider the Amperian loop in such a way that the direction of b vector and dl vector are either parallel or anti-parallel or perpendicular to each other at each and every point of the Amperian loop. So you have to imagine the Amperian loop in such a way that the direction between or the angle between b vector and dl vector will be either they are parallel or anti-parallel, that means 0 degree or 180 degree, or they are perpendicular to each other. This will make easy for our calculation purpose. Clear? Next point, you have to remember this point during the imagination of our Amperian loop. Okay, this is the first point. Next point will be what? The strength or the value of b vector mod is either same at all points over the Amperian loop or the value of b mod is 0 over there. Okay, so during the imagination of the Amperian loop, first point we have to consider, we have to remind in our mind that the direction of b and dl vector must be in parallel or anti-parallel or they are perpendicular, and the value of b vector magnitude will be same over all the points of the Amperian loop or it will be 0 over all the points of the Amperian loop. Clear? So you have to remember these 2 points for considering the Amperian loop. Next point, in the Ampere circuital law, in this above equation, the b vector or the magnetic field strength magnitude or b simply is due to all the current carrying conductors present over there, but I enclosed is the current only enclosed by the Amperian loop. You have to remember this. In the above equation, B dot dl equal to mu naught I enclosed. The B vector or the magnetic field strength is due to all the current carrying conductors present over there. But the current enclosed, I enclosed, is the current only enclosed by the Amperian loop. Clear? So what does it mean? Just imagine that there are large number of current carrying. Here is a current carrying conductor carrying current I1, I2. Here is another I3, here is another I4, and here is another I5. Okay, there are different current carrying conductors which carries current, some of them into the plane, some of them out of the plane. Clear? And we have to assume a point P here where we have to find out what the net magnetic field strength. Clear? B. So here I am considering a imaginary Amperian loop, taking this point. Okay, this is the Amperian loop about this point O, and distance from this will be R. Clear? This is an Amperian loop. So for this Amperian loop which is lies above this point P, so the net magnetic field strength at this point P, according to Ampere circuit law, B dot dl equal to mu naught I enclosed. So this implies for this case B dot dl closed integral equal to mu naught I enclosed. So here this B or the magnetic field strength at this point P is due to current I1, I2, I3, I4 and I5. Due to all these current carrying conductors, the magnetic field strength at B will be this much. But the I enclosed I am considering here is only these two. Clear? The I enclosed in this formula will be the current enclosed by this Amperian loop. So here the current enclosed will be these two, I1 and I2. Clear? So in Ampere circuital law, the magnetic field strength is due to all the current carrying conductors present over there, but the I enclosed will be that much amount of current which is enclosed within the imaginary Amperian loop. So for this particular case, here B at point P will be because of I1, I2, I3, I4 and I5 due to all these current carrying conductors, but here the I enclosed will be only these two currents, the result net of these two, because these two currents are enclosed by the Amperian loop. And in this case I2 is out of the plane and I1 is into the plane. So here what will be the net current enclosed? The net current will be, because I2 and I1 both are in different direction, so one of them is considered as positive and other one is considered as negative. So how to take which direction will be positive, which direction will be negative? So just imagine, here we have to imagine a Amperian loop. Clear? This is the Amperian loop. So as we imagine this Amperian loop, we have to imagine the direction of dl vector. We have to also imagine the direction of dl vector or this line integral vector about this Amperian loop. So as we have the right to imagine this Amperian loop, so we have to choose the direction. So may I choose this direction dl in this clockwise direction if I wish, or if I wish I can choose the direction dl in anti-clockwise direction. It's up to me and up to you also. But you have to remember, if once you choose the direction dl in clockwise or anti-clockwise, you have to stick to that direction till end of the problem. Once you selected the direction of dl, either clockwise or anti-clockwise, this is up to you, but you have to stick to that direction of dl vector up to end of the numerical problem. Clear? So if I choose the dl vector in clockwise direction, that means dl is like this. At each point the dl vector will be like this in clockwise direction. Then the current will be, if I crawl my finger in the dl vector direction, the thumb will show the direction of current. Then the direction of thumb will be shows the positive direction of the current. Okay, once we have to choose the direction of dl, it is according to us, because we are considering the Amperian loop, so we have the right to consider the direction of dl vector either clockwise or anti-clockwise. So once we consider the direction of dl vector, then if we crawl the fingers of the right hand along the direction of dl vector, then the direction of thumb will shows the positive direction of current. Clear? So if I considering the dl vector in clockwise direction like this, not this one. So if I considering the dl vector in clockwise direction, if I crawl my finger in this direction, then thumb will be inward, then the inward direction of current is taken as positive, and the this will I1 will be taken as positive, and the outward will be taken as negative. So what will be the net? I1 minus I2 if I am considering the dl vector in anti-clockwise like this. Then if I crawl my finger along the direction of dl vector like this, the thumb will show the positive direction of current. So in this case I2 is outward, so it will be taken as positive, and I1 is taken as negative. So if I am considering the dl vector in anti-clockwise, so I2 will be positive, so I enclosed becomes how much? I2 minus I1. If I considering this in clockwise, I1 is inward, this will be taken as positive, so I enclosed will be I1 minus I2. Clear? So we have to consider first the dl vector direction, that is up to us either clockwise or anti-clockwise. Then accordingly the direction of dl vector, we can choose the positive direction of the electric current which is enclosed within the Amperian loop. Clear? Or else in simple case, if we are assuming for default the clockwise direction as negative and the anti-clockwise direction as positive, forget about the dl vector direction. In general, by default, if we take the direction of dl in clockwise, that means the current which is coming outward will be positive and the current which is coming inward will be negative. That's up to you, but you have to remember this: if we change the dl vector accordingly our choice, clockwise or anti-clockwise, then if we crawl the finger of our right hand along the direction of dl vector that we are chosen, then the direction of thumb of the right hand will show the positive direction of current enclosed within the Amperian loop. Clear? And the other direction will be taken as negative. Clear? So first of all, we have to choose the direction of dl vector, that is up to us, either clockwise or anti-clockwise. Then we have to stick with that direction of dl vector till the end of the numerical. Clear? So you have to remember that in the Ampere circuital law, the B is because of all the current carrying conductors present over there, and the I enclosed will be only that much amount of current which is enclosed by the imaginary Amperian loop, and this Amperian loop will be imagined in such a way that at each and every point on the Amperian loop the magnetic field strength will be constant or zero, and the direction between B vector and dl vector will be either in parallel or anti-parallel, or the dl and B vector are in perpendicular direction to each other. Clear? So this is about the Amperian loop and some important points you have to remember during the application of the Amperian loop. So now let us discuss some application about the Amperian, some application about the Ampere circuital law. Okay. So if there is a hollow infinite straight, or simply there is a straight conductor, infinite current carrying conductor which carries current I, and we have to find out the magnetic field strength at this point P, which is at a distance r from this infinite long straight current carrying conductor. So according to Ampere circuital law, if I want to calculate the magnetic field strength due to this infinite long straight conductor at this point P, we have to imagine an Amperian loop about this point. So just imagine an Amperian loop about this point, which is a circular loop of radius r, because I have to imagine the Amperian loop in such a way that the magnitude of B at each and every point will be same or zero. So if this distance will be r, this distance will be r, each point on this circular Amperian loop will be at a distance of r. So due to a current carrying conductor, we already know the magnetic fields are in circular loop format, concentric circles. So at each and every point the magnetic field strength will be same. And as we are assuming the circular loop, we can choose the dl vector direction, and each and every point the dl vector will be tangent to this, and the b vector direction will also be tangent to this. That means the angle between dl vector and b vector will be same at each and every point. That is either zero vector, that is either they are parallel or anti-parallel. So if we are considering the direction of dl vector in clockwise, that means the b vector is also anti-clockwise, or the dl vector is in clockwise or anti-clockwise direction, like this. This is the direction of dl vector at this point P, and at this point as the current moves upward, the direction of B will be also in this direction. So the direction between dl vector and B vector is 0. So by Ampere's orbital law, B vector dot dl vector closed integral will be mu naught I enclosed. What is I enclosed? The current enclosed by this Amperian loop is how much? I, because this is only the current carrying conductor which carries current I into I. This implies B will be B dl, angle between them is cos 0, closed integral will be mu naught I. So this implies it will become B dl closed integral, because B is constant over each and every point, it will comes out equal to mu naught I. This implies B closed line integral of dl, that means the complete length of this Amperian loop will be how much? 2 pi r equal to how much? Mu naught I. So this implies B at any point P which is at a distance r will be mu naught I divided by 2 pi r. We already calculate this one by using Biot-Savart's law. Clear? Okay, this is how the magnetic field strength due to infinite long straight current carrying conductor. So if there is a hollow cylindrical current carrying conductor, it's a hollow cylindrical infinite current carrying conductor. Okay, this is a hollow cylindrical infinite current carrying conductor having radius r. Okay, a hollow. Okay, and current I flowing in this direction. Total current I is flowing in this direction. That means if this is hollow cylindrical infinite, this is infinite, extended up to infinite. Okay, of radius r. This is a infinite hollow cylindrical current carrying conductor, and current I is flowing through the conductor. As this is a hollow cylindrical current carrying conductor, the current I is only flowing across the surface of this conductor. There will be no current within this hollow cylindrical conductor. So we have to calculate the magnetic field strength at different points due to this current carrying conductors. So first of all, this is the axis, central axis. This is the radius r. So here is a point of observation A, which is at a distance from the axis r A. Clear? And here it is another point C, and here it is another point B, which is above the surface and at a distance RB. Here is which is inside the surface at a distance RC. Clear? So first of all, we have to calculate magnetic field strength at A, B at A. So according to Ampere's orbital law, if we want to calculate the magnetic field strength at A, so we have to consider an Amperian loop about the point A. So now consider an Amperian loop about the point A. So this is the Amperian loop about the point A. In such a way, if current is like this, at each point the direction of dl will be tangent to this in anti-clockwise, and we are considering the dl vector and b vector in same direction. So here we are considering the dl vector which have the direction like this, and at this point the direction of b vector will be like this. So both have in parallel direction. So at B, what will be the expression by Ampere's orbital law? B vector dot dl vector closed integral will be mu naught I enclosed. What is I enclosed? The complete I is passing through it, because the complete cylindrical conductor is lie within this Amperian loop. So the net I enclosed will be the same as that of the current flowing through this hollow current carrying cylindrical conductor. So now B dl, angle between dl and b will be 0, cos 0, closed integral will be mu naught I enclosed, so this implies it will become b, cos 0 will be 1, closed integral of dl equal to mu naught I, this implies b, closed line integral of dl will be the complete length of this circular loop, that is 2 pi r, radius is a, equal to mu naught I, this implies b at a, let this is b at a. So b at a will be how much? Mu naught I divided by 2 pi r a. Clear? Here r a is greater than radius of the hollow cylindrical current carrying conductor. Next, this is one, case 2, at B at point B, B at this point B. Okay, so what is the strength B at point B, which is lie on the surface of the current carrying conductor. So now we have to imagine at point B a Amperian loop like this. So for this Amperian loop we can write B at B dot dl, closed integral will be mu naught I enclosed. What is I enclosed? The current flowing within this Amperian loop, as this Amperian loop is considered along the surface of the infinite long straight current carrying conductor. So the total current enclosed within it will be the complete current that will pass along the surface of the current carrying conductor. So this will be again I. This implies, as here also the direction of B vector and dl vector are in same direction. That means the theta will be 0. It will be closed integral of B at B dl cos 0 equal to mu naught I. This can be written as B at B will be constant, dl cos 0 is 1, dl will be 2 pi rb, the length of this Amperian loop which have radius rb, equal to mu naught I. This implies B at B on any point on the surface of the hollow cylindrical current carrying conductor is how much? Mu naught I divided by 2 pi rb. Clear? Here rb is equal to radius of the Amperian loop r. Clear? Now for the third case, rubbing here, at C. Here is the point of observation which is at a distance RC within the hollow cylindrical current carrying. So we have to assume a Amperian loop like this. This is the Amperian loop. So at C, again applying Ampere circuital law, B dot dl, B at C dot dl, closed integral equal to mu naught I enclosed. In this case, what is the I enclosed within this Amperian loop? As this is a hollow cylindrical current carrying conductor, the current will pass along its surface. There will be no current within the current carrying conductor. That means the current enclosed within this Amperian loop is 0, as no current flowing inside the current carrying conductor. So here it will be 0. So B at C dot dl, or simply B dl cos 0 equal to 0. So this implies B at C simply 0, where RC is less than R, radius of the current carrying conductor. So in case of a hollow cylindrical current carrying conductor, the magnetic field strength inside, when the point of observation is within the current carrying conductor, that means the distance of the point of observation from the axis of the conductor will be less than that of its radius, then the magnetic field strength will be 0. If it is on the surface, the magnetic field strength will be mu naught I by 2 pi rb, or simply in place of rb this can be written as mu naught I by 2 pi r, B at point B. R is the radius of the cylindrical current carrying conductor, and any point outside it will be this much. So from these equation 1, 2 and 3 we can draw the graph of the variation of B with respect to the distance from the axis of the conductor. So if we draw the graph like this, this is B, this is R, the distance of point of observation from center. So here we can this at this point on the surface, as R is equal to R, the field strength will be maximum, and beyond R, gradually R is greater than R, gradually this magnetic field strength will decrease, and within up to RC less than R or it will be equal to R, the magnetic field strength will be 0. So the graph will be like this. It will be 0 from this point up to this, where at this point it is R, B. This is R, at this point it is capital R, the magnetic field is maximum, then gradually it is decreasing like this. Okay, here R is less than R, here R equal to R, at this point here R is greater than R. Clear? What is R? R is radius of the current carrying hollow conductor. Clear? This is the graph for variation of B with respect to distance from its axis. When R is less than radius of the current carrying conductor, it will be 0 within it. When R equal to R, radius of the current carrying conductor, the B will be maximum, B max. And when R is greater than R, gradually the B decreases. Clear? Now let us consider the same for a solid current carrying infinite conductor. If the current carrying cylindrical conductor is solid, okay, solid, and it is extended up to infinite, and this is the axis, and the radius is again R, and current I is flowing across this. As this is solid, so current I will be flowing across this complete cross sectional area. Clear? So now similarly we have to assume the net magnetic field strength at any point A, which is at a distance RA, outside of the current carrying conductor, again at a point B, which is on the surface at a distance RB, and again any point C, which is at a distance RC, inside the current carrying conductor. So first of all, B at A. So for B, magnetic field strength at A, that is BA, will be how much? To calculate this, we have to imagine an Amperian loop. Okay, like this. So according to Ampere circular law, B at A dot dl closed integral will be mu naught I enclosed. Again the complete current carrying conductor is enclosed by this Amperian loop, so I enclosed will be I. Again the direction of dl vector and B vector are same, tangent, so it will be B A dl, cos 0 will be 1 equal to mu naught I enclosed. So this can be written as B A closed line integral of dl equal to mu naught I enclosed. So this implies you can write B A closed integral of dl about this Amperian loop will be how much? The radius is RA, so the complete length will be 2 pi RA equal to mu naught I enclosed. So this implies B at A will be mu naught I enclosed by 2 pi RA. Here RA is greater than R. Again B at B. So now we have to consider an Amperian loop at about the point B, which is have a radius of RA, which is equal to the radius of the solid cylindrical current carrying conductor, which is extended up to infinite. So we can write B at B dot dl vector closed integral will be mu naught I enclosed. Again, as the complete current carrying conductor is enclosed by this surface, so I enclosed will be the complete current flowing through the conductor I. This can be again the angle between B and dl will be 0, so it will be B dl closed integral equal to mu naught I enclosed. So this implies B at B closed integral of dl equal to mu naught I enclosed. This implies B at B. About dl, what is the closed integral of dl? Will be 2 pi, radius is rb, 2 pi rb equal to mu naught I. So this implies B at B will be how much? Mu naught I divided by 2 pi rb. This is the expression for magnetic field strength at any point on the surface of the solid infinite long straight cylindrical conductor. Here this is equation 2, this is equation 1. Here rb is equal to radius of the current carrying conductor. Clear? This is the 2 points beyond the cylindrical current carrying conductor, on the surface of the current carrying conductor, and the third one, point C, which is inside the current carrying conductor. So now we have to calculate B at point C. I am just writing here B at A is how much? Mu naught I by 2 pi RA. This is equation 1, and RA is greater than R. So now we have to find out B at C, BC. Okay. So here RC is a point which is inside the current carrying conductor. So we have to imagine an Amperian loop about this. So now we have to consider the total current enclosed by this Amperian loop. So by according to Ampere circular law, we can calculate B at C dot dl vector closed integral will be mu naught I enclosed. This will be B C dl. Again angle will be 0. Closed integral will be mu naught I enclosed. So here we have to first calculate what is I enclosed, as I amount of current is flowing across this cross sectional area of radius r. So what is the current density of this cylindrical conductor? J will be how much? I divided by pi r square. The total cross sectional area is of radius r, and complete I is flowing across this cross sectional area. So J, the current density will be I by pi r square, which is flowing across the cross sectional area of radius r. But we need for I enclosed this much amount of current which is flowing across the cross sectional area of radius RC. So I enclosed will be how much? J into pi RC square. So this implies I enclosed will be I by pi r square into pi RC square. This implies I RC square by r square equal to I enclosed. So now using this in this, we will get BC closed integral of dl equal to mu naught, in place of I enclosed, I RC square by r square. This implies BC closed integral of dl will be how much? Of 2 pi RC equal to mu naught I RC square by capital R square. This will become how much? B at C will be mu naught I RC square by 2 pi RC into R square. RC will be cancelled. It will become how much? This can be written as I am writing here. B at C is equal to mu naught I divided by 2 pi mu naught I RC divided by 2 pi R square. Clear? Where RC is less than R. Clear? This is the expression for magnetic field strength due to a solid infinite cylindrical current carrying conductor within the current carrying conductor. This is beyond or outside of the current carrying conductor. This is on the surface of the current carrying conductor. From these three equations, here we can easily consider that the magnetic field strength is directly proportional to the distance of the RC vector. As RC increases from inside, it will increase, and it is maximum when R reach at RB, that is R equal to R, and beyond that, as RA is greater than R, the magnetic field strength is gradually starts decreasing. So what will be the graph between B and the distance R from the axis of the current carrying conductor? So here we can write the graph between B and distance from current carrying conductor for a solid infinite long straight conductor. This is R, will be like this. Within it, it will be directly proportional to the distance up to the like this. This will be where R equal to R. Here R is less than R, and beyond that, when the distance R is increased from R, it will like this. R is greater than R. Okay, this is the graph between B and distance of point of observation from the axis of the infinite solid current carrying conductor. So in solid current carrying conductor, within the current carrying conductor, this is the formula, or simply we can write B dot dl equal to mu naught I enclosed. What is I enclosed? J into area enclosed. Okay, this is the current density of the current carrying conductor, and this is the area of the Amperian loop which enclosed, about which we have to calculate the B. So we can simply, in place of I, you can write this, the current density into area enclosed, by which we have to calculate what? The magnetic field strength. So this is how we can apply the Ampere's circuital law to calculate what? The magnetic field strength at any point due to a hollow cylindrical current carrying conductor and due to a solid cylindrical current carrying conductor. In next class we will do some more applications regarding the Ampere's circuital law. Okay, thank you.